I think I don't need to introduce you to ChatGPT because right now everyone knows about the power of ChatGPT. But I want to tell you that how can we develop a shooter character game using ChatGPT. So we can develop games in Unreal Engine 5, you already know about that, and C++ is the language, the powerful language which is used with Unreal Engine 5 for game development. But with the help of artificial intelligence or ChatGPT, you don't need to know everything about C++ or Unreal Engine or Unreal Engine libraries to develop a game in Unreal Engine 5. Because we can do this with the help of ChatGPT. You can ask ChatGPT, write me this code and he will do it for you. That is the power of AI. So let's go into the video. Here I will show you how to develop a shooter character game like this one you see right here in Unreal Engine 5, C++ and ChatGPT. So now you can see this is the project in which I want to create our shooter character using ChatGPT, and this is Unreal Engine 5. So first of all, I'll come here and you can see this is the character we will use in this project. It's called Bleka. You can download it from Epic Games Marketplace. So you can see this is a high quality character. It has a gun with itself, so and animations, many more. It's very useful. I really like these assets. And now we will come to ChatGPT. I'll ask him show me step-by-step process of creating shooter character in Unreal Engine 5 and C++. So there we go. Now you can see ChatGPT is writing for us how to create a complete shooter character game in Unreal Engine 5. It writes 8 steps and explains how to create, like for example, first we have to create a blank project and then create character class and movement components, like many more things you can see right here. We will apply all these steps to finally have a shooter character in Unreal Engine 5. So first of all, we have to create a blank project, and you can see we already have a blank project. It's not blank project, we have some assets here, and I will create a character class here. I will call it shooter character. This is C++ class, you can see right here. It has some code, and I will build the project so we can see and find our class in Unreal Engine 5. Welcome to content drawer, and here you can see we don't have C++ classes because it's hidden, and there we go. We have our shooter character. I'll come back to ChatGPT, and now we have to come and create character. We already have character class, and now we have to add skeleton mesh and those things. You can see if I come and create the blueprint first, because we cannot add skeleton mesh and those things directly to C++ class, so that's why I will create a blueprint of our C++ class. I'll give it an MVP, short for blueprint, and this is our class or blueprint class. You can see it has some capsule component, mesh component, and arrow component. I'll select a character for that. I'll search for Bleka, and there we can see this is Bleka character. I will select the white one. I think that is a little bit beautiful, so let me find that, and you can see this is the character I want to use. And you can see it's not arranged in the right place, the right direction and right location. That's why I will change a little bit. So let me select our mesh back, and I'll come to its rotation first. I'll change it to -90 degrees to right in the right direction, because you can see it's not facing the arrow component. And now I will give it a -90 degrees location and Z axis. Now let me close it and come back. This time I'll delete that and add our own character class. That's it. We have Bleka in our project. So now let's go to the next step. I'll come to ChatGPT and ask him how to add camera and spring arm components, because we need camera component, spring arm component to see our character. And wow, this is amazing. Like he explains everything step by step. How can I add spring arm component and camera component from blueprints or from C++, both sides, but we will use C++ to add spring arm component to add spring arm and camera components, and it explains what is spring arm component, why we use both of them, how to add them, and we have to, you can see here, we have to attach them, like we have to attach camera component to spring arm component and many more things. You can read all of them, and it explains how to add it from C++ and attach it to the spring arm component. This is amazing, this is great, but I need a code, so that's why I asked for writing a code for me. And let me regenerate it again. There we go, we have the code for camera component and spring arm component. So this is amazing, it's crazy, like you have now all the code right here with explanation why we should write this code and why do we need it. That's it. And now first I'll copy the declarations. So I'll come to shootercharacter.h file, and here I will add a private section and paste it. So now you can see we have red squiggles, means till now our project doesn't know it. What is this? I will add class or forward declare it. If you know C++, you already know about the forward declaring in Unreal Engine 5, so that we will introduce it to our project. And then I will come to implementation. Let me copy the code for implementation, and I will come to constructor of shooter character, and I will add a comment like this is camera components, spring arm components, and I will paste them. You can see these red squiggles right here again, because still Unreal Engine doesn't know what is this, because we have to add the header files. So I will come back to ChatGPT and copy the header files and add the header files at the beginning of the project. And there we go, our project is ready. If I come, but we don't have it right now because I have to reload it from Unreal Engine. So I'll click on reload. Now we have our spring arm component and camera component, but we don't have its details because we have still a problem. I will ask ChatGPT how to expose my spring arm and camera components to blueprint, because it is in C++ and we need to edit it in blueprints. So it needs a little bit more code. That's why I asked ChatGPT how to use it, and ChatGPT writes a code for me how to do it. And you can see U property right there. It says we can use U property to expose it, like we have edit anywhere, blueprint read write, and many more. So I will copy U property, edit anywhere, blueprint read write, and category is camera, and then I will add it before declaration our files. I will come back to ChatGPT and tell him write me the code for changing the camera length, not camera length, the target arm length or spring arm length, because we need to make it a little bit bigger. I will show you what is the target arm length in spring arm component and why we should use it. You can see the code right here for that, and we have the complete code with explanation why should we use it and how we can access it and what is and where is it declared. So I'll copy it. I just need camera arm length, and I will just come to C++ and let me paste it right here. So this time if I compile and save it and come to character class, you can see target arm length right here, and I will change its rotation a little bit in X, Y, and Z, and there we go. This time I have to position a character to play it from here. I will write position the character and play. There we go, we have our character and it's ready to be played, but we don't have any movement components yet. I will add movement components. That's why I have to add to next step, and there we go. I will come here and tell him write me code or guide me for writing code for enhanced input in Unreal Engine 5. Remember, there is a problem. You know what is that? You can see enhanced input is released in 2023, and ChatGPT is updated, or its information and internet is in 2021. So that's why still ChatGPT doesn't know about enhanced input. That's why it's writing code for me for input in Unreal Engine 5 or setup player input, which is the old method in Unreal Engine 4 and in Unreal Engine 5. But in Unreal Engine 5.1 we have enhanced input, and ChatGPT don't know yet about that. So that's why their code is correct, but we will not use it because we want to use the new enhanced input method. So you can see this code right here with lots of explanations. That's great, that's amazing, we like it, their code. their code is great, but we will not use this code because this is for old method. You can see all this code for setup player input component. Okay, I will ask him again. No, it's just the old method. Can you please explain me the new enhanced input in Unreal Engine 5? And again, he's trying to tell me about setup input because she doesn't know about it. She doesn't know what is the enhanced input because her information about the internet is around in 2021. So like you're asking for the future, like today is something like future for ChatGPT. That's why she doesn't know about anything which happens today or yesterday or these months, because her information about an onliner in the internet is from 2021. That's why I will write and I will come to Unreal Engine documentations and I will find more information about enhanced input right here. It is for experimental feature and it's not recommended for using in projects because it's not yet finalized. So that's why we will just come to project settings, and if I come here to input, there yellow warning right there and we have not to use it, but still we will use it because it's a new and updated version, and I'll enable this plugin. You have to restart Unreal Engine. I'll come back to documentation and here you can see information about enhanced input, how to use it. So I'll come here and you can see I'll select our enhanced input from there in project settings and come back to documentation to find more information. We have core components, we have input actions, and you can see input action and input mapping context. That's great. Like this system is great. I really like using this and it is very powerful than that old system you saw before. And you can see we have those code right here and lots of information, tips and many more. You can see the tip right there, you can see the code right there, how to cast, how to use it, how to get player from there, and lots of things, lots of information is here in Unreal Engine documentations. I will come back to Unreal Engine and come and create a new folder for input, and I'll come and add input action. I'll give it a name like AI move. This is for movement, and I'll come add another input mapping context, and there we go. I'll open input mapping context. I'll add new mapping and I'll select move for that. And let me come back to codes in begin play. I will copy the code from the documentation right here and I will paste it in the begin play. So that's it, we have it, but you can see lots of things are there which gives warning because still in our project we have not declared those things. Like you can say you enhanced input local player system and many more. You can read these comments and find more information about that, but I will come, you can see use subsystem right here. I will come here and search for subsystem and copy subsystem include file, and then I'll come back, I'll include it right there. So now we will not have that problem again. One next problem we have to come to build.cs and I'll add enhanced input right there. You can see enhanced input in build.cs. This time I'll build the project, but still it's failed, so that's why I'll close everything. Projects, and then I'll delete binary, intermediate and safe folders, and I'll come back to project, right click, and I'll tell him generate Visual Studio project again, and there we go. I will build the project and I have to wait a little bit. Let me open the solution again, and this time we have our code which is ready and we have our model in our build.cs. I'll come back to shooter character, and this time if I include all those files we will not have any warning or error. So let me come this time and build the project. So what will happen again? Still we have errors. You can see something is wrong. Let me fix these problems. So you can see we need input mapping context and we need the priority, so I will give it a 0 in priority, and we have to add input mapping context. We already created input mapping context, if you remember. but we only need to link it to this place. So I'll delete it and I'll come back to shooter.character.h file, and here I'll add a U property to that, and I will define U input mapping context, and it is shooter character mapping context or IMC, and that's it. That error is gone now, and this time if I come to documentation back, I can find more information about that. You can see that this is what we have to add into U enhance input function. I'll copy this and I'll come back to C++. This time I will paste it in setup player input, and there we go. We have U enhanced input component, and we have to declare that for that one also. And you can see we need input action also, but for now I'll delete that one. We only have one input action, which is move input action. And now I will arrange the code a little bit, and we need input action right here. I will give it a name like say is input action, and come back. I will define a U input action, say is input action, and there we go. I should arrange this code, and I will add our move one right there. But we need to define a new function with move. First I'll add a property to this one also, because so this time I'll add move function. It's void, returns nothing, and needs const if input, and it needs if input value, which is const, and we have to give it a name like value. And this time I will create this definition in .cpp file. Come back to .cpp file. So in CPP file still we have error. That's because we have to include something new. Let me include enhanced input .h file. Let me include enhanced input components .h file. And one more thing I'll add, so let me include that one also. Include components and slash and input components input component .h file. So these two we need to include them. And there we go. I will come if this time I check, we have error and it's gone. We don't have those errors anymore. This time I'll come to move function and add movement components or movement functionality to that. I'll copy that movement functionality from ChatGPT. You can see we need a forward vector for add movement input, and we need movement value. I'll come back to documentation. Here you can see little bit more information about if input value, and it shows us how can we add or how can we pass values into that. I will add value. From that I'll get float value, because for movement value we need float value. I will save it in a variable called float move value, and there we go. If get controller, if we have controller, and if move value is not equal to 0, that time we can move, and I will tell him add movement input and get actor forward vector because we want to move forward, and I will pass move value, and there we go. This time if I save and compile our project, it's failed again because we need to input action value.h in .h file of our project, and I have to forward declare our U input mapping context and U input actions, and it's successful this time. Great. Let me come back to Unreal Engine, and I will come to move action, and I will select 1D axis, which is float value because we are taking float value from there, and that's it. Here I will close this one. Let me come back to mapping context, and here we can add key. I want to add W key for moving forward and is key for moving backward. I'll come back to in is key. I just want to negate it so that we will move backward by using is key. I'll come back to our character. This time I'll come to its default settings, and from default settings let me find context and move action. So I'll select both of them and play the game. Wow, now I can move, but what is the problem right here? You can see I can move only if I press the key, not if I hold it. It should move like in real games. If we hold the key, it moves continuously. That's why I'll come back here, and this time I will tell him not start it when it is triggered, and do it continuously.
I will build our project again, and if I play the game, and there we go. Great job. We can move forward and backward right now. So now it's time for the next step. I will come again to movement, and this time I will add 2D value because we want to move on two axes, X and Y. So that's why I will add 2D, and then I will come to IA move, and here I will add some more keys. I will come, and this time I'll add D and E keys. So I'll come modifier, and I'll swizzle it. So I want here to Y. I want Y. So I want Y here to be the first axis, and then I'll come to E. I will swizzle it. In this one also I want Y to be the first axis, and then I will come and negate this one also, because E should be the negative value of D, or E should do the opposite of D. And I think it's done here. Come to code to C++ here, and this time I'll not get float value. I will tell him to get 2D value. So I'll tell him get f vector 2D. If vector 2D is a 2D value, and I have to store it in if vector 2D with move value. But still we have a problem with the if move value dot x is not equal to 0, because it should be in x-axis. Then we want to move forward, and we want to take value from that x-axis, and then I'll come and add another if. So to make it easy, I'll just copy and paste it right here, and this time I'll tell him okay, else if y is not equal to 0, then we want the y value this time. And that's it. This time we need a right vector, not forward vector, because we want to move on right and left. So I will save everything and reload it in Unreal Engine 5, and that's it. There we go. This time I can move right and left. Wow, this is amazing. With just some copying and pasting some code, we have movement this time. I will add another input action, and let me open this one. This time I'll again add to D vector, because I want it to be looking around. I'll come here to mapping, and this time I'll add look around, and I will add mouse X to D. So because mouse X to D is like we are moving mouse on two axes, or I can do it on the mouse X and mouse Y separately. Both of them can work. So this I'll add and mouse Y also, and I'll right click and swizzle and Y, and I'll select Y axis at first. So I think nothing else is required. I'll save it, and there we go. I'll come back, and this time I have to come to .h file and copy input action, and I'll change it to input not look around action. So this time it's look around action. We want look around. I'll add another function for look around. It also needs same values or move function, and I will create this implementation in .cpp file, and that's it. There we go. I will come back to cpp file, and I'll copy if player. This time I will check for if look around action is available, or if it's not null pointer. I want pass look around action this time, and add the function of look around function instead of move function. So this time I'll come to move function, and in move function I have to add a little more functionality. I just need a float value. I'll give it a name look value, but for this we don't need a float value. I'll just vector to D value. So let me change it to vector to D, and if look value is available and look value dot x is available, or is not equal to 0, then we want to add at controller yaw input, and look value dot x, we need x value, and else if controller is available and look value dot y is not equal to 0, this time we can, so I can remove if else from both of them, because two times I want to check if. Maybe sometimes we will do both at the same time, and I'll add controller pitch input this time, and I will pass the y value. So that's great. I think everything is ready. I'll reload it from Unreal Engine 5, and I will play the game, and not working. I'll enable use pawn controller rotation, and now let me search in defaults, in class defaults for use controller rotation pitch. I'll select look around input action and compile and save everything. If I play this time, wow, it's working, but it's wrong again. I'll come to class defaults and I'll search for controller. I will just disable pitch because we don't want to rotate our actor and pitch. So this is good, it's working, but it's the opposite. I will come and add negate to Y also, and compile save everything. This time if I play, everything is working perfect. Wow, this is great. Now we have a shooter character, we have a character with movement. This is great, but still we have a problem, like it's not in like walking and running like that, because it's only moving, which is not looking very natural, and we need something natural. That's why we need to do some more work in Unreal Engine and C++, which is called blueprint animation. So let's talk about blueprint animation a little bit. We need to add a little more information. I'll come to character, and this time I'll select blueprint animation. Blueprint animation is already available, you can select it directly, and there we go. If I play this time, we have animation, and it is moving, and it is in running, walking, and that's great. Now we have animation with just one click. So if I come to character movement, here I can change lots of settings. I will select acceleration, max acceleration to 100, so it should start slowly, like you can see right here, but it is starting very slowly. It's not looking natural. That's why let me come back and change it a little bit. I'll change it to something like 200 maybe, and play this time. I think it's good. This time we have acceleration, and it is little natural looking with this character. Let me come back to ChatGPT. So we have to come and we have to implement shooting this time. Let me come and this time tell ChatGPT write me some code for shooting in Unreal Engine and C++. So here we go, man. What is this now? He's writing code for shooting, and that's amazing. Like, this looks crazy. You no one believe it, because you can see we have U property, and it's declaring, and it shows us like we should do it in shooter character.cpp in constructor, like everything. It explains us where should we paste this code, and it will help us a lot in developing big projects. First, I'll copy all the headers and paste it right here. Remember, here will not be duplicated because we have pragma owns in C++, and that's not a problem. And I'll come back to ChatGPT. This time I can copy projectile copy and shoot force, both of them, and I will paste them in .h file in projectile section. Shoot force, I will just make it 500.f, and you can see I think it's good. If I will come down, and this time I'll write a shoot function, because we need a shoot function, and it should return void. And now let me create its implementation in .cpp file. So I'll copy your input action, and this time it should be for shooting action. And let me come to input, and let me come to input component, and here I'll copy, and this time I'll check for if shoot action is available. If he's available, then we want shoot action, pass shoot action right there, and pass shoot function also. So when shoot function is called, we only do it when it is triggered or it is started. And this time I'll come to shooter character. I'll copy the code from ChatGPT, all this code, and I will paste it in our shoot function. So that's great. This is amazing. Now we have all the code for shooting. It's not all yet. If projectile is null, then we will return early. If it's not null, then we will if vector, if rotator, and you can see from get controller we can get player view input and many more things like muzzle location, muzzle rotation. Wow, it's great. Then we have projectile, and that's amazing. But we have error, if you can see here, and we have projectile, a shooter projectile, but we don't have any class of a shooter projectile. That's a problem. That's why we have to create a shooter projectile class. I will tell him what should be the type of a shooter projectile, because still I don't know, but I'm sure it is a actor. You can see right here, this is an a actor class, and that's the code inside that. Wow, like lots of things I have to do inside a shooter projectile, but it stopped in the middle, and I'll tell him regenerate it again for me because it's not completed. I need the full code, but the time it was stopped in the middle, and you can see this is the final step. We have full code now for a shooter projectile. I will come to Unreal Engine and I'll create a new C++ class. It will be actor class, and I'll give it a name like projectile or shooter projectile, something like that. And there we go. This I will reload it, and now we have projectile class. Everything is ready here, and that's great. So this is our projectile.h file, and let me come to ChatGPT and copy some code from here. You can see lots of code there. I will come here and copy the code which is related to projectile, and you can see it's again these headers I need. I will just copy the headers first, and if you can understand it's pragma once, and if we include it again that will not be a problem. Copy the code required in .h file, and let me come to projectile.h, and here I can paste it in public section, and let me forward declare it, and forward declare projectile movement component also. So this time I will come and copy the header files. So these header files we need, I will come and paste it in .cpp file. So this time these things, this code we need in .cpp file. You can see here this is the constructor, and I'll copy the code and paste it in constructor there, and that's it. It's working correctly, but dynamic is not working. I don't know what's wrong with that. So I think I can ask it from ChatGPT, but first I will add this unhit function, and you can see unhit function it's not working. I'll tell him what's wrong with .hit function, and he says that first you have to declare it, and that's he's right. ChatGPT is right. I have not declared it yet, and I'm using it. But what's wrong with dynamics? I will tell him the problem, the error. So what's wrong with unhit, and you can see a lot of code right here to fix this problem. So that's why I'll copy .hit file from here, and let me paste it in .h file in projectile. So that's great. Now I think both of these problems are fixed now, and we can use it. So let me come to shooter.cpp file, and here I will include our projectile class because we want to use it right here. So shooter projectile.h file, and that's it. Now if I come, still we have this problem. So I don't know what's wrong here. I will ask again ChatGPT what is this error for, and ChatGPT tells us just copy and include this file. So let me include this file right here, and there we go, it's fixed. And if I build our project, still it's failed. Something is wrong again. I think for fixing this problem I'll close the project and its code. I'll delete saved, intermediate and binaries folders, and I'll regenerate the whole Visual Studio code again, and that's it. We have to wait a little bit and open the project solution again and build the project this time. So let's see, and it's built successfully. I will open the project in Unreal Engine 5, and there we go. I'll open shooter constructor. From here I have to edit some things. Let me come to the class defaults, and I'll select shoot action, but I think we don't have shoot action till now. I'll create a new input action with the name of shoot, and I'll come here and tell him this is action. Yep, that's a bold value, and I'll add this to input map pink and text, and with left mouse button we will press it and it will become true. So I'll select shoot action from here, and I think everything is good, but let me select class projectile also, but first we have to create a blueprint class, because you can see we cannot directly select C++ class because we want to edit some things. So it's blueprint of projectile. Now I can select the blueprint of projectile, and I'll compile and save everything. I'll come to the projectile component, and you can see I can add another mesh right here. Let me add static mesh, and inside static mesh let me come here. Now you can see where is our I'll select static mesh as here. We can see this one. I think it will work. For now I'll play the game. This time I have pressed right key and we're shooting. You can see we're throwing that sphere, and that's great, that's amazing. But you can see we directly throw from player viewpoint. I will just come here and change the camera rotation a little bit, so this time we will not hit our character, but I'll make it a little smaller because it's too big. That's it. I think, yep. Now I will play this time, and there we go. We're throwing the stud or that sphere or something, anything you can call it. So it is like shooting, but we need a mirror and sound. For that I will come to ChatGPT and ask him again how to play sound and spawn a mirror, and he's writing code for me. Again, I only need to copy and paste this code. Look at this. So I'll tell him for declaring, I'll ask him how to declare those, and there we have sound bits and U particle. I will copy both of them. So and let me come to .h file. I will paste it right here, and there we go, and that's it. And now you can see we have head sound and particle. And let me come back to .cpp file, and I'll copy the header files from here. Let me paste it in .cpp file, and this time I will copy the code and paste it inside head. So I think this time it will be perfect, it will work. We don't have any error till now, so I'll reload it in Unreal Engine 5, and let me come to shooter projectile, and here in class defaults I will search for our spawn emitter and sound. There we have them. So hit speed and max speed, we don't need that. I will just select the emitter. Let me select emitter like a muzzle emitter, and for sound I will just come and add this and add these assets to our project. I'll select all projects and select Unreal Engine 5 and add to the project these military weapons. Now we have impact sound. There we go, and let me compile and save everything. And if I play this time, now you can see, but we don't have any sound yet. What do you think? What's wrong? Is there something wrong with an head function or something? Like we cannot see our emitter and we cannot see our sound. So something is wrong. I'll come to an head, I'll delete everything, and this time let me delete that in projectile. I will implement all those in shooter character class, and we have impact emitter, impact hit sound, and we have muzzle emitter and muzzle sound. So now we have 4 of them because we need both of them 2 times for impact and muzzle. And this time I'll tell him write code for spawning emitter attached to weapon socket. So this time you can see we will have it, I'm sure. Look at this code. Let's wait a little bit to be completed, and I will copy the include files and I'll just paste it in the header. And now let me come and copy this one line of code, and I will come here and paste it in shoot function. After I think in the end I'll paste it. Now you can see spawn emitter attached, and I will tell him how to get mesh character from character class because we have problem with that. Now you can see we have get mesh is a function for getting the mesh. I will just call that function, and there we go. But we with muzzle socket, we need a socket. For that I will add text and I will give a name like muzzle socket, but we don't have muzzle socket now. Muzzle location, I will copy this muzzle location, and I think still something is wrong. Yeah, this muzzle emitter template, I'll copy and paste it here, so that error we should not have anymore. But still something is wrong here. Let me check what is wrong, what could be wrong. Yeah, we need one more semicolon at the end, and that's it. So I'll save, and muzzle location, we need to create a socket for that. I will come to Blackout character, and let me open the character to it. I'll come to skeleton, and let me search for muzzle. There we have lots of muzzle sockets already. I will just come and select this muzzle, and I'll just change its name to muzzle location and save it. So now we have muzzle location, and we can spawn it. We can spawn our emitter like in the right location now. So let me come back to the project, to the right location, and play the game this time. But first we have to reload it, you know, it's important. And still we don't have, because I have to come to character class and select our muzzle. And now you can see impact emitter and lots of them. I'll just select muzzle emitter first, and there we go. If I shoot this time, we have muzzle emitter. That's great, that's amazing. We have muzzle emitter in the right location because it's attached to the weapons, to the character socket. I'll tell him write code for a sound attached to the socket, and this time ChatGPT will write code for us for sound. And now you can see, first I'll copy the header, I will include it to our project, to shooter character.cpp file right here, and I'll come to the end, and this time I will copy that one line code for sound, and I'll paste it right here. We already have the sound, it's not my sound, we have it muzzle sound. I'll just copy and paste muzzle sound. I'll tell him get our mesh, and with the socket name I will copy and paste the socket name. So now let me check this class, because still we have an error. If I come to gameplay statics and search for that play sound attached, so you can see we have play sound at location and we have spawn sound attached. That is something wrong ChatGPT did. So she write for us play sound, but it is not play sound, it is spawn sound attached. I will make it correct, and this time I'll reload, and let me come to character and select muzzle sound or fire sound. We have different sounds right here. I'll select one of them, like this one. What do you think? Let me search. This rifle sound I think we need. I'll select the rifle, correct rifle sound. Which one is that? I think that's the right one. And finally I select that one, and we have impact sound also. I'll select impact sound and impact emitters. Now if I play the game, wow, we can shoot now. We are shooting, that's great. And now you have sound, emitter, and lots of things going on here. I really like it. I'll come back to shooter character.cpp file, and here I have to fix some things right here. Like you can see some things are wrong here, so I will change some things right here. First I think I will change not location from viewpoint. I think it's correct. So let me come back to character.cpp file and tell him write code for send component, because we need a send component to add in the last location. So now you can see we have complete code for send component, how to declare, and lots of explanations. Most times I don't like those explanations. I'll just copy this code. Like you can see here, we only need this code. I'll just copy use send component, and let me come to .h file. and in .h file in private section I will forward declare.send component with muzzle location. So I will just give it a value like that, and there we go. I will add a projectile category to that one also. Now if I can I have it, I will just create a sub default object for this one for muzzle location use in component, and that's it. I'll give it a like a muzzle location, and there we go. So let me check. I want to attach it to our, so now I want to attach it to the location to root component, and it's attached to the root component now. And I'll copy muzzle location, I'll come to the end, and instead of muzzle I will just forward vector, I will delete all the, and I need send component to location. I asked it from ChatGPT what is how to get send component location, and he says yeah, you can take the send component to location like this. Now I have muzzle location, and tell him get component location, and I will store that in muzzle location. So this time I'll come to cpp file. I don't know what is wrong, why this error I see here. Oh, we both of them are same names. I'll just change this name to projectile location, and like that I'll change that to projectile location, and this time I'll build the project, and it's successfully built. I will come and open our Unreal Engine project. I'll come and select a location for our, you can see for this there should be correct location in this send component, so we can spawn our projectile here. It should not be spawned in player view, so this is the right location, I think. Now if I play, and there we go, it is spawning in the right location, I think. I want to change the force of shooting, so its distance should be long. I'll change it, and this time you can see we're shooting in long distance, and that is something great. I'll stop it again, and let me come, and here they will change it to a sphere, a correct sphere. You can see this sphere, and this is the right one, I think. I will just make it, I will just change its size a little bit, and I'll change its material. Let me come, you can see its opacity and emitter. I want to change the emitter color, so that's why. So let me check where can we change the emitter color. I will add another color, so let me add color right here and change the color to red, and this time I will hold it to emissive color. It's emissive, it's not emitter. So now I will multiply it by a value like something like 10. I think 10 is the good value for that, or let me make it something like 30, so it should be very bright. If I save everything up, play this time, and look at this. So what is wrong here? It is shooting in wrong direction, I think. Now you can see it, we are shooting, and that is great. Now we have, it looks like a real projectile. You can shoot it, and that's great.
Thank you guys for watching this video. I hope you learned something about ChatGPT and Unreal Engine 5 and C++. If you want to learn more about these things, you can subscribe to the channel right now, and I hope see you soon.